So good afternoon, folks. Hope you're all well and getting out lots in this summer of 2022. Quick shout out to the Rhythmic Biker. Get well soon, mate. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. Stuff like that blows me away. Young folk having heart issues. I was young myself at 32 when I had my heart attack, but you're way younger than 32, I would think. 26 maybe, 27. I'm guessing, I don't actually know, Grant, what age you're. So hope you're well soon, mate, and hopefully we'll see you back out on your 1050 ST Triumph, which my current instructor, or my previous instructor, I don't know who I'm getting next time, but he's got one as well, a blue one. So what's going on with me in this test, this MOD1? How did I fail my MOD1? Well, you drive from the parked area outside the test centre, in through the gates when told to. You park the bike facing inwards once you're inside the gates, in the parking bay when told to. You then take the bike off the side stand and manually handle the bike, performing a 180 degrees park right into a bay right next to the other parking bay where you're already parked. So from there on in, you go over, you do the slalom, figure of 8. Then he moves you on to the ride extremely slowly at walking pace alongside the instructor, not instructor, the test guy, the test dude. So from there you then do the controlled stop. You go from one corner of the training area to the other, do a turn, come back down through the speed trap and bring the bike to a controlled stop. After that you go on to do the emergency stop, which is the same again. You go from one corner of the test area to the other, left hand turn, right round, back on yourself, through the speed trap. You've got to be going 32 miles an hour, I think it is, 50 kilometers per hour, and you have to bring it to a stop as quick as possible. From there on you do the exact same again, except it's a swerve and avoid. So you come up to the bit, I'm doing 52 now, a bit fast, well not really, and you go like that and jump on the brakes safely and come to a halt. I never actually got to that, but somehow I done a control stop on the emergency stop. I had it in my head of to stop before the guy, so when he raised his hand, he was at the other end, like as far away from me as he could be, and I just rolled up basically, steady stop before him. So they don't give you a second chance. I couldn't believe it. I thought he would have just went, oh there you go, do that again, you made an arse of that. No chance. So after the second control stop that I done, which should have been the emergency stop, I thought to myself, that's weird, they tell me just to come out now. And I began to think to myself, he's forgot about the swerve and avoid. No, he hadn't forgotten. It was just because you're not allowed to go on any further if you arse up the emergency stop. So nobody was killed, no bikes were dropped, no bikes were damaged. Funnily enough, George, the guy that was down with me from Harley's training school, training as well, doing his MOD1, he failed as well. he done it opposite from me. He done an emergency stop in the moderate and the control stop. Oh, big bird up right up there. Very cool. He done a control stop instead of the emergency stop. No, sorry, he done an emergency stop instead of the control stop. So he arsed it up as well. The other guy that was there, he wasn't down with us on bikes. There was me and George on the MT-07s, we were learners. We had Des, who was our instructor from Harley's, and we met a guy down there. I've actually forgot his name. He's a nice big guy, a big Lithuanian guy, and he drove down in his car, and I thought, that's a bit odd. Well, fair enough. So George went first, then it was me, then it was the big man. The big man done an endo, which is a skateboard BMX sort of named trick, where you go up and stop on your front wheel and lift the back wheel and balance on your front wheel. I believe it's called a stoppie on a motorbike. So he done that at his emergency stop. The back wheel come up 6 to 8 inches off the ground, and I thought, you can't be allowed to do that. But it turns out he passed, so no hard feelings. It's just the way it goes. So afterwards, Des, the instructor, went in and he was talking to the test guy for quite a bit, supposedly appealing mine and George's cases. I think they were just in there rolling about the floor, laughing their asses off at us. But not to worry. So I've got my next one booked the end of this month. The previous one, the MOD1, was 165.50. This next one I've got booked is 65.50. It's £100 cheaper. But there's a catch. I've got to drive myself to the test centre in my own car, take my gear with me, then I'll borrow Harley's bike that'll be already there, because they'll already have another couple of guys there doing tests. So I imagine they'll get to go first and then I'll be last, and it's £100 cheaper if I do it that way. So I figured, I've ridden the MT-07 quite a bit now, I've had quite a few shots out on it, so I'll miss out that whole bit of riding down to Ayr. I'll just have to drive down, and I have to be there for 8 AM. I think the test's at 10:30 or something like that. Sorry, 8:30. So it'll be an early rise, but not as early as I was the last time. Oh, that was nice. Nice and steady, free-flowing bends here. Well, that's what I needed. I'm not out for too long, I keep telling myself, but I needed that. That was awesome. I planned a big long ride today, and I planned to go down to the Scottish borders. Sounded dead Scottish when I said that at first. The Scottish borders. There we go. But it didn't happen. Unfortunately, it's my wife's birthday in a couple of days. Had to go and get her some perfume from Jackster and get her some cards. Get my dad a Father's Day card, that's coming up as well. So that interfered with my plans a little bit. And then I comes back in, or I'm heading back up to my work, and there's an ambulance behind me, so I pull in to a lay-by. Ambulance passes me and it turns in for the same turn off as my work, but thankfully carried on driving past my work, because it did cross my mind, oh god, I hope that's not from my mum or dad. And then my dad comes walking out and I'm like, what is it? And he's like, he just didn't answer me, and I thought, oh, that's weird. And then eventually came over and said, yeah, your mum's took a funny turn, we're waiting in an ambulance. But obviously they got lost and drove past where they were. Long story short, she's fine. Her blood pressure was a little low. She wasn't feeling too good yesterday. She said she felt a bit sick and seedy, so she hadn't eaten, and when she went to take her tablets in the morning that she takes, she thought I better not take them on an empty stomach, and she realised the following day, which is today, oops, I never took yesterday's tablets. So we highly suspect it's down to her not taking her aspirin and statin and whatever else she takes. She's got angina, that's her only really complaint. And she's also got an aneurysm, in fact, in her stomach. But it's not a dangerous one, thankfully. Although she did get one of them removed years ago, and it was like a big one. So, just bad gene pool, I guess. But she's fine. She just didn't even go to hospital in the ambulance. They said she's okay to just go home and rest. So she was having her lunch when I left earlier, and then when I come back up she was away, so she'll be lying down on the couch probably watching Netflix. Still find it's quite mad, both my parents are in their 80s and they watch more Netflix than I do. Well, this is me hit the traffic now, folks, so I'll leave you at this. First day out in leather actually this year, got this RST Blade jacket in. And it's still far from warm actually when you're riding. Well, peace out, folks. Take it easy, and cheers again for dropping by. Take care.